Please be seated. Thank you. Can everyone hear me at the back? Yeah. Can we turn up the volume a little bit? How about now? Is that better? Can you hear me now? All right. Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of our faculty and staff, I welcome you to the Department of Chemistry graduation ceremony. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Harry Potter. Thank you. I got my PhD from the University of Leeds in the UK, which explains the highly medieval regalia that I have to wear, and also explains the real English accent, just in case you were wondering. This is a special day for our graduates, families, and friends. We're truly delighted to be your host for this celebration. We find ourselves in the famous Dabney Hall, a place that many of you have experienced for the last few years, including this very auditorium, most likely. If you're not so familiar with this room, please be careful when you move around later to take photos, which we really want you to be able to do. The steps, if you notice, are famously uneven, and we really don't want anyone taking a tumble as you're walking around later. Before we begin with the recognition of our graduates, I would like to say just a few words about our department. Our department comprises 45 faculty and 15 incredible support staff. We offer two undergraduate degrees, the Bachelor of Science and the Bachelor of Arts, with about 250 undergraduate majors in chemistry in total. The two graduate degrees that we offer are the Doctor of Philosophy and the Master of Science. And we have over 190 graduate students in our program, a few less after today, of course. We also teach students in many other majors, including engineering, agriculture, natural resources, biological sciences, and textiles. Collectively, this is an enormous undertaking in which we teach more than 18,000 students each year in lectures and our lab courses. In fact, our department teaches more students per faculty member than any other department at NC State, although I might have made that up. As the largest doctoral university in North Carolina, NC State's mission is to offer graduate degrees while integrating research and teaching into our curriculum. So in addition to classroom and lab teaching, our faculty direct the research projects of graduate and undergraduate students. This research leads to the crucial discovery of new knowledge and trains the next generation of scientists and educators. And you'll probably hear a little bit more about those research projects when our graduate students are honored in the hooding ceremony. Our research addresses society's grand challenges, such as synthesizing and discovering new drugs to treat disease, developing tools and methods to study human health and the environment, and using synthetic molecules to capture, store, and convert energy. Other research is focused on fundamental chemical principles, such as the connections between molecular structure, bonding, and reactivity, as well as chemical education. Our research faculty publishes more than 150 papers every year in top peer-reviewed scientific journals, many of which gain international recognition. To support our research, our faculty also secure external funding from federal funding agencies, including the National Sciences Foundation, the National Institutes of Health, and the Department of Energy, and from private organizations and global companies in the industrial sector, such as Eastman Chemical and BASF. In the last academic year, over $8 million in new research awards were awarded to our faculty to drive the research mission of our department. Our faculty regularly receives university awards for their instructional and research success. Most recently, Wei Chen Chang received the University Faculty Award. Jeremy Fiducia received the College of Sciences Excellent in Advising Award. Jim Martin received the Charles Harty Award from the Georgia section of the American Chemical Society, and John O'Harter received the Goodnight Early Career Innovator Awards. Let's give those folks a round of applause. Another outcome of our research is the creation of startup companies that spin out of our academic labs. There are 9 startup companies that have emerged from these efforts in the last few years, and our department is one of the top 3 NC State departments in terms of research commercialization. So coupled with our teaching excellence, this research-oriented culture provides stellar preparation for future careers in industry, government, academia, and many other pursuits unrelated to chemistry. Today, we are graduating 39 students with either BS or BA degrees, 33 of which are here today, and 8 PhD degrees, 6 of whom are here today. So with that, it's my pleasure to hand things over to Professor Reza Guladi, the director of our graduate programs.
Thank you, Professor Williams. Good afternoon. My name is Reza Guladi, and I'm a professor here in the Department of Chemistry. I believe this is the ceremony where we go to platform 9 3/4. Is that correct? That's a Harry Potter reference. Somebody has not yet seen the Harry Potter movies. We're going to leave it at that. So it's my honor, indeed my privilege, to be announcing the names for the doctoral graduates at this spring 2025 graduation ceremony. As opposed to the more formal ceremony tomorrow, this is a much more informal ceremony. It's one where we're going to have fun. You're going to hear about the graduate students and their accomplishments from their research advisors. Normally, I would give you a truly fantastic and riveting speech. It's actually a pretty good one, explaining what a graduate degree is and what it entails. But as the graduate students know, and as my faculty colleagues know, I'll be stepping down as the director of the graduate program after this June, and that's after 5.5 years, which is about 7 months longer on average than it takes to get a chemistry PhD. So with that, I get to graduate from my role. Let's see if the clicker, oh, there it is. The clicker does work. I get to graduate from my role as graduate program director, and with that, I get to thank a few people. So we're going to do this in terms of an analogy. Let's talk about the mind, the heart, and the soul of the chemistry graduate program. And starting with the mind, we have fantastic staff that supports the graduate program. Amy Roshaw and also Robin Tanner, who without them, as our graduate student specialists in the department, the graduate program would fall apart. From degree audits to GSSP exceptions to seminar announcements, orientation, contracts, so many contracts, and committee modification forms to tracking all of the programmatic milestones for each of our graduate students, they make sure that the proverbial trains all run on time. The heart of the program is our students, our Chemistry Graduate Student Association. Beyond the research and teaching, our graduate students do so much unheralded work for our program, from being the backbone of our spring recruitment weekends to our outreach in community events like National Chemistry Week. Much like a heart, they keep the program going 24/7, 365. Finally, the soul is something that goes a little bit beyond numbers, and it's harder to kind of come up with a good example, but when the students heard that I was stepping down as graduate program director, a few of them wanted to do something nice to coincide with my birthday, which, as we all know, is March 30th. Just make a notation. When is it, Professor Williams? March 30th, yes, very good. And so I thought it would be a beer and a few cupcakes, but they secretly put together an elaborate bash at Mitch's Pub that included scores of faculty, staff, students, friends, collaborators, as well as past researchers from my lab who flew down from Boston and New York to participate. There were tremendous decorations, a lot of food, and it was by far and away the most amazing day that I had at NC State, well above anything like tenure or promotion or any award or recognition along those lines. Just don't take away the tenure, though. And they captured it, and I brought it here, and if anyone wants to sign it afterwards, come see me in my office. But they captured it in this beautiful album, and they made this album on the spot. They added in photos and pictures, and they really captured the essence of what it is to have the soul of our graduate program within their words, their pictures, and really in their kindness. So with that, I hope you have a better understanding of the mind, heart, and soul of our chemistry graduate program here at NC State. And now, for the last time, As the graduate program director for the Department of Chemistry, I will now read aloud the names of our graduates and ask them and the research advisors to come down front, and for the research advisors to say a few brief words about their accomplishments. As Professor Williams said, we have 8 PhD graduates, but 2 of them are not here because they get those things called jobs. Actually, they all have jobs, but they get those things called jobs, and they don't get to come back, unfortunately, at this time. And again, as a reminder, feel free to come down, take pictures, just be careful of the steps. So with that, we will move to our first PhD. That would be Jenna Berger, whose research was done under the direction of Professor Leslie Sombers. And the title of the dissertation was Real-Time Monitoring of Multiple Neurotransmitters in the Rat Striatum, Advances in Simultaneous Neurochemical Detection.
Well, hello, everyone. It's my pleasure today to be here to celebrate the accomplishments of all of our graduates. But I'm delighted especially to talk about Dr. Jenna Berger. Jenna came to us from Ohio University with a background in forensics. And in the time that she's been in my group over the past 5 years, she's done a tremendous amount of science with a huge amount of tenacity. Science is not easy. It is really, really hard, and a lot of stuff does not work. And what I can tell you is that Jenna always came in and every single day did her best and gave it her best shot. And in the end now, she already has 3 publications with several more in the works. She's given 18 poster and oral presentations at national meetings over her time in my group. She helped me teach a graduate course in neuroscience by delivering lectures in an area completely different than the area in which her formal training. And she worked on developing innovative new technologies in measurement science, particularly in the area of electrochemistry. And she's using electrochemistry to measure neurotransmitters in live brain tissue. So it's really impressive. Her research project relates to one of our oldest and biggest medical problems, pain. And pain is closely linked to addiction. Pain alone has a greater economic cost than heart disease, diabetes, and cancer combined. And as you know, we have an opiate epidemic. But you may not know that you have endogenous opioids in your brain. And here's the thing, we as scientists don't yet know where, when, or even the physiological mechanisms by which how these opioid peptides are released. They're simply that hard to measure. But you know what, if we want to treat pain or addiction with good pharmacology, probably understanding how these chemicals work in the brain, where and when they're released, would be a really important first step. So that's just what Jenna did. She used a technique called voltammetry to measure opioid peptides in the brain that have never before been measured, even though many have tried. She came in every single day with a killer work ethic, and she made it happen. In fact, she also measured dopamine at the same time and place, just for a fun bonus, because she can, providing measures of another key molecule and a really important control. Importantly, Jenna's also a great leader. She contributed to training 5 undergraduate researchers. And over the past academic year, I've been away at the University of Florida, and she ran the NC State projects, overseeing the lab and supervising 2 undergraduate researchers with tremendous success. On top of all of this, she's won several awards, including a Provost Fellowship, an NC State Grad Fellowship Award, an award for excellence in science communication, and a whole list of poster awards. She just recently took a position as a postdoc at NIEHS, where she's studying neurotoxicology. And so I've She is my 15th and last PhD from NC State student, and wow, did she crush it. So I'd like to really congratulate Dr. Berger on her outstanding contributions to science, and I can't wait to see all that she achieves in the next stage of her career.
Our next graduate is Jamie Brunig, whose PhD was done under the direction of Dr. Josh Pierce, with a dissertation entitled Synthesis and Biological Evaluation of Heterocyclic Containing Natural Products.
Great, thanks Reza, thanks everyone. It's really a pleasure to be here with Jamie and be able to celebrate this moment with her. Jamie joined our program about 5 years ago from Longwood University and was interested in making new things that had an impact on human health after spending some time in a pharmaceutical industry internship before she came. I think she quickly learned that making molecules was maybe harder than playing tennis, or at least took a longer time to get to the desired outcome. But over the time she was in the lab, she really excelled at developing skills in how to make new things and spent her time making molecules that nature makes that you might find in the soil outside in your garden or in various other locations. But she learned how to make them in the laboratory. She learned how to collaborate with others in understanding how they function biologically, and ultimately developed a whole new series of molecules that were trying to advance towards treatments for infectious disease and a lot of different infections that impact human health. All of this work funded by the National Institutes of Health. And so if anyone's curious what that national organization supports, it doesn't just support research, it supports amazing students like Jamie, who will be going off to Syngenta very soon to contribute to the regional industry and agriculture. And so couldn't be more proud of Jamie. She's published several papers, given a number of talks at conferences, and is a great example of NC State PhD. So congratulations, Dr. Brunig.
Thank you, Professor Pierce. Our next graduate, and my colleagues were saying, advance the slide, so I'll have to remember that to do that in advance, is Lihan Chen, whose PhD dissertation, Advanced Polymeric Materials for Antimicrobial Photodynamic Inactivation, was done under the directions of Professor Chris Gorman and myself. And because Professor Gorman is taller, he's going to do the hood, because I would just butcher that, but I'll have him say a few words, and then I'll say a few words as well.
I shout at 250 undergraduates twice a week, so. Lihan, I'll let Reza give you all the stats, because I didn't write them down. But suffice it to say, there are quite a few impressive stats that she has accomplished in her work on new polymeric materials and their use in photodynamic therapies. She's been instrumental in the training of undergraduates, including one who's going to graduate today. And probably the best thing I can say about Lihan is when you get a PhD, I think the defining moment is when the student becomes the teacher. And she has been my teacher. I've learned a tremendous amount.
So I don't shout at undergraduates, because HR told me not to. But I'll go ahead and just say a few words. I'm not going to talk about stats. All of our students will graduate with papers, publications, conference presentations, fellowships, awards, things like that, right? But a little bit more about who Lihan is. Could you imagine how difficult it is getting a PhD with one advisor? Now do that with two advisors. And so as Professor Gorman said, she became the teacher. She's the one who put us in our place. Imagine coming out of the COVID-19 pandemic back in spring 21 when she joined the research group, and we have had disruptions to research, disruptions to equipment, disruptions to practically everything. Having someone like Lihan who was stabilizing was and is incredible. The problem is With small research groups like mine, I have 3 or 4 graduate students, Professor Gorman has 3 or 4 graduate students. When someone like Lihan leaves, it leaves a hole that cannot be replaced, cannot be filled. And so that's going to be the challenge going forward, is how do we recover from losing someone who is as strong of a student, strong as a leader, and strong as a person as Lihan? And I'm not sure how we're going to recover that. So I'll stop there before we all break into tears with that. And just want to say congratulations, Professor Gorman, with the hood. I can always pose for pictures just by myself, but that's okay. Our next PhD will be Stephen McBride, whose dissertation entitled Development of Saber Hyperpolarization Methods for Next Generation Metabolic Imaging was done under the direction of Dr. Thomas Tice.
It is a great pleasure to be here and celebrate this wonderful occasion with Dr. McBride. And I'm just so thankful for all the contributions that you have provided to the lab. So Dr. McBride, he started out his career as Arabic language analyst for the US Army, and then was at Cameron University, where he continued to study languages and discovered his love for chemistry and got a dual degree in international languages as well as in chemistry. And then we were very fortunate to recruit Dr. McBride here to the NC State program, where he joined my lab, where we developed new technology to be able to visualize and image the chemistry inside of organs, inside of plants, to develop a new methodology to do what we call metabolic and molecular imaging, to really be able to observe chemistry in places where other technologies really can't visualize those chemistries. So his very first project was started out by working on trying to hyperpolarize, which is this word that we use for enhancing MRI signals, and to really be able to develop MRI into this technology where we can see these chemistry transformations for molecules at low concentrations. And so he started with alpha-ketoglutarate and modeling with DFT calculations, so density functional theory calculations, how exactly these molecules would bind to our catalysts that we develop in the lab to transfer this enhanced spin information and enhanced MRI signal onto, for example, alpha-ketoglutarate, which are central to the metabolism in cell cultures and energy productions in cells. So after concluding that first project, then he had realized, oh, this is an interesting kind of chemistry, and then wanted to show that this can be scaled to lots of other different metabolites and chemicals. And so he performed lots of detailed experiments to show that every keto acid is actually amenable to this technology that we develop in the lab, and it was highly successful. And not only did he establish all the experiments, but also developed the physics behind all of it. So specifically, he was developing chemical kinetics models together with spin evolution models, combined those two concepts of physical chemistry to be able to fit the data, analyze the data, validate all the details. And so this was just recently published and highlighted on a cover that Dr. McBride designed himself, that really showcases not only his creativity in chemistry, but also being able to display it as an art form on the cover of that journal. So then, after kind of having established sort of the fundamental physical chemistry and the fundamental experiments, he then wanted to go all the way and show that we can actually deploy this in animals and really visualize the chemical transformations. And so he engaged with a big team of collaborators across the United States and in the lab to then really kind of break through some of the biocompatibility barriers that the technology was facing. And so with that big team, Dr. McBride was able to really show that he can overcome all of these challenges, address all the bits and pieces from sample preparation to processing to then injecting and analyzing the data and getting the animal images. So it was really an impressive journey, and I want to thank you for all your scientific contributions, but also to help us with actually the growth of the lab, to become better organized, and to just have a really good place moving forward. So thank you so much for everything you have done. Very much appreciated, and congratulations, Dr. McBride.
Thank you, Professor Tice. Our next PhD graduate, Nicole Montero Marin, whose dissertation, Leveraging Genetically Encoded Biosensors and Methyltransferases for the Production of Semi-Synthetic and Agricultural Macrolides, was done under the direction of our department head, Professor Gavin Williams.
Thank you, Reza. It's a great pleasure to say a few words about Miss Montero as she steps forward to be hooded today. Nicole joined our group with a profound curiosity and intense drive that perfectly suited the challenging world of synthetic biology and chemistry. She embarked on a groundbreaking journey to explore how to leverage nature's biosynthetic machinery to develop new pharmaceuticals. During the course of her PhD, her work spanned several unrelated projects, each presenting unique opportunities for her to demonstrate innovation and creativity in synthetic biology. Along the way, she also worked very closely with an industry partner and was a valuable team member who helped transition her own PhD discoveries towards the development of a commercial product. Beyond the bench, Nicole has also been an advocate and a mentor, helping to support the scientific community. She served as a leader within the Latin American Student Association and extended her mentorship beyond the lab to support fellow students. She also won several awards along the way for her presentation of her PhD research. What stands out the most to me is Nicole's optimism and strength. As we've heard already today, research is rarely linear, and her journey, like that of many other grad students, has its fair share of setbacks. But at every turn, Nicole responded with resilience, reflection, and resolve, and I think they are the hallmarks of a great scientist and a remarkable human being. So far, Nicole has successfully turned down multiple job offers. But looking to the future, I'm confident that she will continue to excel and innovate in the position that she will hopefully accept soon. So thank you very much for all of your contributions to the group.
Thank you, Professor Williams. Our final PhD who's being recognized this afternoon is Logan Ritter, whose research dissertation, The Development and Applications of an Advanced Polarizable Force Field for Metal Organic Frameworks, was performed under the direction of Dr. Brian Space.
Let me get this hooding thing right. I'm a theoretician, and this is going to be like advanced work for me. All right. Thanks, Reza. So it's a real pleasure to be here with Logan today. We're a computational material science group, and Logan's come with me through quite a journey. Logan also shows how well-rounded our students are. Logan had his first degree in music as a piano concentration, and then did undergraduate work and took some of my classes, and somehow I managed not to scare him away. And indeed, I scared him into my laboratory, where he showed what a kind, thoughtful, and talented individual he was. And he was a very productive undergraduate member of my laboratory when I was at University of South Florida in Tampa. And when I moved to NC State during COVID, he was one of the people that moved with me and became a graduate student. And he continued to flourish. And not only did Logan produce some very seminal and important papers in our group and gave presentations, he also became the central leading member of our band. So we actually got to present, and they even let me sing, which was sort of a mistake, but it felt good. You have to create your own band if you want to sing, is what I learned. But at really prestigious conferences in front of a lot of important people in our field, we were able to do an original song about computational chemistry and how it's developed over the years. And without Logan, now he's going to teach my son before he leaves, even though I'm losing my leverage here, letting him graduate. But really, he has just been one of the most kind, thoughtful, talented people, and just a pleasure to work with all the way through. And you never know what's going to happen in graduate school, because he's also engaged to a former group member now who's also got her PhD just recently. And they're both off to New York City, where she's going to be a science educator, and Logan is going to contribute in God knows what way now, because he's got so much talent and so much accomplishment that we're just lucky to have him, and I'm grateful that he was a part of my life. Congratulations.
Just so that we don't get in trouble, I will ask for the name of the band afterwards in private. We do have a series of graduate student awards and recognitions, so I will call the graduate students who have won these awards to come to the front individually. However, they may not be here because they might be working in the lab. We'll find out. So for our first awardee, Emily Brown. So Emily is the recipient of the Robert A. Osteryoung Award in Research. The award is named after Professor Robert Osteryoung in recognition of his contributions to the development of our general chemistry program, including being one of the pioneers in seeking funding for the Fox Science Teaching Laboratory, successfully seeking additional funding for general chemistry, catalyzing curriculum reform, and for the recruitment of faculty dedicated to teaching general chemistry. This year's recipient is Emily Brown from the Castellano Lab. Is Mary Wang here? Here she comes. Now, Mary has won this award because she has been teaching our Analytical 316 laboratory course for the past year. So the Miles F. Anderson Award in Teaching, Miles was a graduate student working in the Feldheim Research Group who unfortunately passed away suddenly in September of 2002. He had 3 bachelor's degrees, one in chemistry, biology, and environmental science from NC Wesleyan College. Miles was dedicated to his students and admired by all of them. One of his favorite sayings was, "Go for it." This year's recipient is Mary Wang from the Mudman Lab. Is Zach Farron here? Zach, please come to the front. Lehan, please come to the front. Now, she looks at me because she's in trouble. All the other awardees were announced in advance, but I didn't tell Lehan that she was getting this award as well. So to the front, right there. So the Percy Levon Julian Award in Research, he was known as a worldwide leader and trailblazer, both in the world of chemistry and as an advocate for the plight of Black scientists. Born in 1899 in Birmingham, Alabama, he faced many struggles as a Black scientist, but was finally recognized as a genius and a pioneer in the field of organic chemistry. This year's co-recipients are Zach Farron from the Lindsay Lab and Lehan Chen from the Glady Gorman Labs. And so I am almost done, because now we get to go on to the undergraduate portion of the program. It's a pleasure to introduce our student speaker, introductory speaker, it's a mouthful, Gracie McNair, who will introduce our student speaker.
Hello, everyone, and thank you all for being here today. As some of you may know, Dr. Fiducia was supposed to give this introduction, but unfortunately he can't be here due to being the best man at his brother's wedding. So, while I'm clearly not Dr. Fiducia, I'm honored to introduce our wonderful student speaker, Julia Linville. I first met Julia through a big little interview in our fraternity, Alpha Chi Sigma, also known as AX. This fraternity has the goal of binding its members in the chemical sciences through a tie of true and lasting friendship. In the process of trying to find a big to mentor and guide you through the initiation process, we met for coffee and ended up deep diving into one of our former TA's Twitter accounts. Don't worry, they graduated. That memory has stuck with me, and ever since then, Julia has become a cherished friend. While writing this introduction, I spoke to others who know Julia, and everyone has been absolutely gushing about her. Julia has accomplished so much in her time here, serving as a true role model both inside and outside of the classroom. Since joining AX her freshman year, she has taken on several leadership roles, from historian to vice master alchemist and now master alchemist of the fraternity. To those unfamiliar, those are just fancy terms for vice president and president. Beyond AX, Julia has made a lasting impact as a College of Science ambassador, dedicating her time to supporting and mentoring her peers. And personally, I can say my life has been changed for the better since meeting her. Through the years of being in AX, she has always been there for myself and others to guide us emotionally and professionally through the trials and tribulations of the chemistry degree. When seeing her in the AX Lounge, even with the jarring yellow walls, I've always been comforted and full of joy to see her. Her ability to balance so much while still lighting up every room she enters continues to amaze and inspire all of us. Without further ado, please join me in welcoming the incredible Julia Linville.
Thank you, Gracie, for that amazing introduction. I've never seen this classroom so full before, even during an orgo exam. So this is incredible to me. Oh, thank you, thank you. Okay, can everyone hear me now? Okay, slay. Okay. Friends, graduates, faculty, family, and every pony in between. It is an incredible honor to speak before you today as a member of the class of 2025. 4 years ago, we began this journey on shaky ground, not just academically, but globally. We applied to college in isolation, not knowing whether we'd even step foot on campus. But here we are, in person, in our caps and gowns, together. We weren't just students. We were survivors of a shifting world. We didn't have the luxury of a traditional start, but we had resilience. And I'm talking about real resilience, the kind you earn when your semester goes sideways and you show up anyway, when the experiment fails, when the grade stings, when life knocks you down, and somehow you still find the strength to get up the next day and try again. But resilience for me wasn't always easy to find. College wasn't a straight path. I had academic setbacks that made me question my intelligence, personal struggles that left me emotionally drained, and there were months and weeks where it felt like I was just surviving one assignment at a time. And somewhere in all of that, I hit a wall where I truly believed I might not belong here, that maybe I had faked my way in, that even though it has always been my dream to be a scientist, that maybe I wasn't cut out for it. For a long time, I thought if I just pushed harder, stayed up later, kept grinding, I'd power through. That personal grit was everything. But it wasn't. Not really. Because the moments that saved me, the moments that actually pulled me back, weren't solo victories. There were moments when someone showed up. A friend who dragged me to an impromptu trip to Cup of Joe when I was spiraling. A TA who helped me understand quantum tunneling when it just wasn't clicking. Thank you, Logan. A professor who reminded me I was more than my lowest grade when I was feeling hopeless. An underclassman who told me they looked up to me at a time when I didn't even believe in myself. That's when I learned something I'll never forget. Grit matters, but community is what makes grit possible. I didn't make it through these years because I was unshakable. I made it because people around me helped steady me when I wobbled. This isn't just true of students, it's true of science too. In science, we tend to glorify the lone genius. Things usually get named after one person that discovered it. Grubb's catalyst, Beer's law, or technically Beer-Lambert if you want to be pedantic, among countless others. And honestly, I'd be a little miffed if I were the grad student running all those experiments. But the truth is, science is, and has always been, a team sport. We collaborate, we peer review, we even argue sometimes. And if you've ever worked on a group problem set, you know sometimes collaboration looks like politely fighting over who got the answer less wrong. No discovery is made in isolation, and no chemist thrives alone. Community is not something just nice to have. It's the infrastructure of progress. It's what allows resilience to turn into innovation. That's what got me through these 4 years, and I know I'm not alone. We've seen firsthand how much stronger we are when we support each other in labs, in group chats, in life. That kind of connection doesn't stop when we graduate. It's what gives me hope, even in a world full of uncertainty and distrust. Because we've already proven how powerful we can be when we care, when we think, when we keep showing up for each other. But of course, it's hard not to feel uneasy about the world we're walking into. We see headlines about funding freezes at NIH. We hear rising voices of distrust in science. We live in a time when misinformation spreads faster than the truth, and evidence is treated like an opinion. But we cannot let that make us cynical, because what the world needs right now, what it has always needed, is people like you. People who know how to think critically and care deeply. People who've already lived through uncertainty and didn't back down. People who understand that science isn't just about data, it's about service. We can't wait for perfect conditions. We're not entering the world to be comfortable. We're here to build what's next. So yes, we need to lock in. We stay curious, we keep asking the hard questions, we keep supporting each other, we carried forward the resilience that got us here, and we use it just not to survive, but to shape something better. Every one of us has been someone else's safety net, even if we didn't realize it at the time. You got this before a presentation. A look across the lecture hall before an orgo test that said, we're in this together. And maybe even a half laugh, we didn't cook after taking that orgo exam. That's community, that's resilience, and that's what makes this class unforgettable. To my professors, TAs, and mentors who answered panic emails or offered patience when I needed it most, thank you. To my friends, brothers in Alpha Chi Sigma, and family, thank you for being my constant, for showing up, and for never letting me forget who I am outside of deadlines and grades. To my fellow graduates, thank you. Thank you for the group chats, the lab classes, the late night study sessions, the shared pain of writing lab reports, and the unspoken moment when just being there for each other was enough. You are proof that resilience isn't rare, it's here, it's loud, it's ready. And now, it's yours to carry into the world. Congratulations, class of 2025. We did it!
We would like to start by extending a warm welcome to all the family and friends who have joined us, whether in person or via the live stream, to celebrate this spring 2025 graduating class. To the graduating seniors, we are proud of you and excited to celebrate your successes today. To receive a degree in chemistry requires a lot of hard work. It can be time-consuming. It forces you to think critically. It is challenging. There likely were many late nights and many early mornings. You have worked tirelessly, dedicating many hours to reach your goals. I hope you can take a moment to reflect on all the obstacles you battled and the challenges you faced, and feel proud of yourselves for all that you have accomplished. Our department offers 2 bachelor degrees. The Bachelor of Science is an American Chemical certified degree that trains students to directly enter the chemical workforce or pursue an advanced degree in the chemical sciences and related fields. The Bachelor of Arts degree is selected by students who wish to couple a secondary discipline to a core set of chemistry courses and generally seek professional opportunities outside of traditional lab work. So at this time, we would like to introduce the students graduating with a Bachelor of Arts degree. You will receive a diploma cover, and then you will also receive a carnation, which we will talk more about in a moment. So our Bachelor of Arts candidates. And you guys can come on down. We don't want you navigating the steps at the same time. All right. So our first graduate is Carson Campbell. We have Winter Johnson. Robbie Lesk. And Emma Verbeek. All right, so now we invite up our Bachelor of Science. So you also receive a diploma cover, but in your diploma cover, there at least is one thing, it's your ACS certificate, and then you'll also receive a carnation. All right, so we have Gabriel Castro. Snigna Chanduri. Brandon Colella. Kenyon Dunlap. Catherine Farnham. Abby Ford. Maggie Gardner. Paige Grunman. Chris Howard. Anisha Johnson. Emily Joyner. Tony Kelly. Peter Lawing. Julia Linville. Alan McMillan. Liv McClintock. Kara Mustakis. Isha Patel. Rishi Ram. Jaden Richardson. Jared Ruoff. Arian San Buenaventura. Emma Scardina. Rachel Serbasic. Adina Shub. Sam Weinschel. Angela Yao. Kennedy Young. Do also want to make note that we have some students who graduated as a part of our chemistry honors program, which offers students a challenging program of advanced study where they can develop research skills as well as written and oral communication skills. Students in the program are required to participate in a minimum of 2 semesters of independent research, complete at least 9 credit hours of advanced coursework in chemistry, with most students taking graduate courses, and maintain a minimum overall GPA of 3.5. They also present an honors thesis during their last semester. So this year's graduating class of honors students will be recognized with their honors cords.
I overcorrected. We now would like to announce this year's recipients of the Undergraduate Student Awards. We'll start with the Outstanding Senior Award and Scholarship. So the Department of Chemistry Outstanding Senior Award and Scholarship honors a graduating senior who exemplifies extraordinary academic engagement, either bridging concepts across disciplinary boundaries or developing depth of expertise within a singular discipline. This student not only has demonstrated the ability to think creatively and critically, but also has excelled in advanced and challenging coursework in his accelerated bachelor's master's program. This year's recipient is Peter Lawing. The Department of Chemistry Outstanding Senior Award and Research honors a graduating senior who has added significantly to the body of knowledge in their research discipline. The student has demonstrated initiative, independence, and positive contributions to an active research program. This year's research award is being given to a student that has shown the potential to be an amazing independent researcher whose accomplishments include multiple first author publications and a second author publication. This year's recipient is Brandon Colella. The Department of Chemistry Catalyst for Change Award honors a graduating senior who has achieved significant accomplishments in the realm of service. This student is a leader who used their time, talents, and intellect to improve their community. This recipient was chosen for his mentorship, service, leadership, and authentic human connection with others in the department. This year's recipient is Samuel Weinschel. The Titanium Award is given to a student that exhibits the strong and resilient properties of this metal inside and outside of the classroom. This year's recipient was chosen because of her significant commitment to leadership among her peers, her support for her peers and incoming students, and for her commitment to building an uplifting community among chemistry undergraduate students. This year's recipient is Julia Linville. The Outstanding Transfer Award is given to a student who has made the most of the time they have been at NC State and in their discipline. This student has demonstrated outstanding scholarship while also making major research contributions, where she discovered a reaction that generates tetrahydrobenzazepinones. Say that 10 times fast. This year's recipient is Adina Shub. This year's Outstanding Freshman in Chemistry Award was chosen because of her performance and outstanding engagement in the classroom. This year's recipient is Justina Sokar. The AIC Student Award Program honors outstanding seniors majoring in chemistry and are given in recognition of a demonstrated ability, leadership, and professional promise. The students receiving the award this year were chosen because of their demonstrated academic excellence in the classroom and potential in their upcoming graduate studies. This year's recipients are Robbie Lesk and Adina Shub. The ACS Undergraduate Awards recognize outstanding achievements by undergraduate students in the major subdisciplines of chemistry. Students receiving these awards have dedicated themselves to excel both in the classroom and in the laboratory. This year's recipient of the ACS Award in Inorganic Chemistry was chosen for his contributions in inorganic research and for his extensive graduate-level coursework in the area of inorganic and materials chemistry. This year's recipient of the ACS Award in Inorganic Chemistry is Carson Campbell. This year's recipient of the ACS Award in Analytical Chemistry was chosen for his contributions in research at the interface of biology and analytical chemistry, which has led to 3 co-authored publications. This year's recipient of the ACS Award in Analytical Chemistry is Gabriel Castro. This year's recipient of the ACS Award in Organic Chemistry was chosen for significant contributions in the area of computational and mechanistic analysis of catalysis by iron enzymes, which has led to 2 co-author publications with 2 additional publications in review. This year's recipient of the ACS Award in Organic Chemistry is Angela Yao. This year's recipient of the ACS Award in Physical Chemistry was chosen for his excellence in the classroom and professional promise in the area of computational chemistry. This year's recipient of the ACS Award in Physical Chemistry is Rishi Ram. The Royal Society of Chemistry Certificate of Undergraduate Excellence recognizes outstanding achievement in the study of chemical sciences. The students receiving this award are recognized for their exceptional dedication to coursework and engagement in undergraduate chemistry research. This year's recipients are Brandon Colella and Peter Lawing. Let's give a round of applause for these students and their accomplishments. At this point, we would like for all of the graduates to reflect on their journeys that led them to being in this room today. Take a look around you and you will see that you are surrounded by many who have supported you along the way. At this moment, we would like for you to stand and to share your carnation with someone who has impacted your journey or whose support has been meaningful to you. And be careful of the steps. I don't think there are too many extra. All right. At this point, I'd like to hand it over to Dr. Josh Pierce to introduce our alumni speaker.
All right, hello again, everyone. It's my great pleasure to be able to introduce our alumni speaker today, Dr. Matthew Boudreau. There's very conveniently a speaker bio on the back of the program, which has many details about Matthew and his trajectory over his career. He was a student, an undergraduate student here at NC State, graduating in 2016. And during that time, I think Matthew came to NC State as a chemical engineer. Area a lot of people come to NC State to study, and I think quickly realized that chemical engineering wasn't quite right for him. And so you might think he then became a chemist, but not quite. He then became a biochemist in the department next door to us, and soon then realized that wasn't quite right, and so decided chemistry was the right fit, which we were thrilled about and very lucky to have him come through our program as a student. And over that time, I think Matthew was a special student here. He was involved in many of the programs you've heard about today from our current students, really becoming a member of the community in all ways. And during that time, also got to know Matthew's family, who I see in the back. It's a community that I think lasts for a lifetime, not just the time that students are here at NC State. And so it's really special to see that. After leaving here, Matthew got his PhD at the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign, where he worked with Paul Hergenrother. And during that time, had amazing success in actually translational research in making new molecules that can be used to treat disease. And was actually so successful that those molecules are actually advancing towards the clinic and have really been an amazing success story during his time there. More recently, has decided to take that even further. I'm going to the Dana-Farber Cancer Center in Boston, working with the Nobel laureate to really take that whole field of using the chemistry he learned as an undergrad here at State to treat human disease to a whole new level. And he's doing amazing work there. As part of that team. And so it's a delight to be able to introduce Matthew, to have him back as part of the Wolfpack community, and to really celebrate not only Matthew, but the greater community that's growing today and will continue to grow as NC State continues to produce and train and teach such amazing students. So thank you so much, Matthew. We're happy to hear your thoughts.
You guys don't want me to do this without something to rein me in, so let me get this ready. First, let me start by fixing this in some way. Okay, great. First, thank you, Josh, for that introduction, and Gavin for the invitation to talk to you all today. And let me just start with congratulations. You guys have worked a lot to get here. There's been a lot of perseverance. I think Julia, honestly, kind of may have stolen my speech before this, which is awesome. It's awesome to see. And I'm excited to be the first person to tell you, graduates, there's no more Smirnova PChem tests. There's no more Eisen or Franzen lab reports. You guys have done it, and you've made it, and you're an incredible group of young people. 9 years ago today, I sat exactly where you are, and to be frank, and you can probably tell by my start, it's very surreal to be up here in front of you. I still remember my first college class in this room before these walls were actually yellow. We used to have a huge periodic table up here. Some of the faculty members will remember that. You could push a light bulb and turn on an element. It's very strange. I was learning organic chemistry in this room from Professor Fiducia, and I started my own research journey here, as Josh mentioned, in his group on the 8th floor of this building. And it's really within the rustic walls of Dabney Hall where I started to see how chemistry can be used to truly solve difficult and real-world problems that we all face today. So when thinking about this speech to you all, there's a lot of thoughts going on in my head, as you can probably imagine. It's a challenging time. I think if you had told graduating senior me, sitting in the chair today, that I'd be giving this talk 9 years ago, I would have assumed that I did something novel, interesting, exciting, wonderful, Nobel-worthy, and then I could talk to you all. It was all about research for me back then. And it's not lost on me that today the reason I'm giving a talk is because I decided to give back to my NC State family. And so that's the story I want to leave you with today. I tend to ramble. Some of you who know me know this is true. 30 minutes can turn into an hour, turn into 3. So I'm going to just give you 3 take-home messages. This is something the wife gave me advice to do. So one is to recognize and find people who invested in you. The second is to invest in other people. And the third is sometimes you need to solve small problems first to get the momentum to tackle larger problems that we face. So coming out of the pandemic, it was a time for many of us to reflect on where we were and how we had gotten there. And for me, what had really crystallized was the root of many of my scientific successes in life were the direct result of a number of people who are actually here today in the Department of North Carolina State. I admit, actually, that when thinking about this, that it sounds much more grandiose than it actually was. It's really just simply having mentors and professors make time on a day-to-day basis to discuss things as simple as how to run a column better, how to synthesize a molecule in a new way or in a better way, navigating changing majors, as Josh alluded to, was a big part and a lot of time, persisting through a medical leave in which professors stood beside me in a challenging time, or even larger, bigger things that with hindsight become clear, and that's being resilient and overcoming challenges along the ever-winding road of doing research. And I think many of us can understand how that goes, and being resilient and knowing that it's okay. It was abundantly clear to me that North Carolina State chemistry had invested in me, and I wanted to give back. So going back to this idea of trying to identify small problems and just nail them, just solve them. I knew firsthand how powerful my undergraduate research experience had been in Professor Pierce's lab, and I knew how challenging it was for a student to find funding to simply just be in lab for a summer. And so I founded a small undergraduate summer research award here to sponsor a student in the summer. Today, we funded 4 really incredible students, all of which I'm excited about, and 2 of which, Angela and Brandon, are actually graduating today. And it's so good to see you guys and all the great things you have done and will continue to do. One of the things I'm most proud of this award is not just what we've been able to do in funding the 4 students so far, is that we've been able to encourage others to consider sponsoring students. And I'm excited to see we already have things in the department to help sponsor more than 1 student in the summer to do research. And so while I do feel like this summer award that we had set up is a small solution to a much broader problem, and research funds are even more precious than ever, I think many of us can appreciate that. That this is just one small solution along the way of growing and sustaining our chemistry family here at NC State. So after today's celebrations, I encourage the graduates to take a moment to just think and recognize the people who have helped you get here today. Those who have invested in you, cheered you on, spent time with you, stood with you when things were hard and good. These are the people who are going to form a foundation for you as you navigate a new season of life. They often are going to be a lighthouse in the storm, and I think that's something that I think about a lot with many people who are here today. I also want to say that if that list is not clear to you yet, that's okay too. These things develop, and I think they take time and they take recognition, but they take intention and they take thought, and you need to be thoughtful. And I would encourage many of you to just do not do this life alone. Seek out relationships as you go forward. When we support others, whether through mentorship or an opportunity, a cup of coffee, a text, a group chat, as Julia was talking about, we create a culture where talent and kindness can ripple outward from us. And during the process of putting some of these thoughts on the paper, something that became clear to me is I love to use the word invest in people a lot. That word obviously has a connotation that may imply that we should expect a return on our investment. People here at NC State have poured into me without expecting anything in return. I think many of you probably have very similar experiences. We give to you all not expecting something in return, but making a simple difference is simply enough for us. And we're so excited to see where all of you go. So class of 2025, you're now ready to go out into a world and use something that I like to call your superpower, which is to think molecularly about complex problems. And ultimately, the root of solutions to those problems are thinking molecularly. And so I do ask just one thing beyond when you're so focused on solving those problems using your chemical know-how, is to do me a favor and don't forget to look up from your flask, your HPLC, your computer, increasingly so, and invest in the people in the world around you. So congratulations, class of 2025, and thanks everyone.
I just have a small token of our appreciation to give to Matthew, just to celebrate him being back here today and for all of his incredible contributions to our department. Okay, this is the last stretch, I promise. Before I go any farther, I would like to request, if not beg, for your permission for me to take my stupid hat off. Can I take my hat off? No, you don't have your diplomas yet, you know. There's still time. Okay. Just kidding. Congratulations to all of you for your extraordinary achievements, culminating in the degrees that you've earned today. This is, of course, a massive milestone in your life. The last few years have been challenging for students for several reasons, and that further elevates your accomplishments. In fact, whenever I review my remarks and prepare them for this ceremony, I always hope to be able to take that sentence out, and I'm unfortunately not able to do that yet, but I hope I will be able to sometime in the future. Chemistry is a so-called hard science. It's quantitative and measurable and systematic, and often leverages mathematical theory. It's challenging and highly technical. There's no easy chemistry course, so you should be immensely proud of you being here today. We thank your family and friends who believed in you and have supported you financially and emotionally and in other ways along the way. Over the years, you've interacted with our faculty and staff and other students. You've learned an Avogadro's volume of chemistry and received advice about academic or even personal matters. And this relationship won't end today. We're always here to help you, whether it's advising you about career decisions or providing some input on your scientific questions. The Department of Chemistry is your academic home and family, and we want you to stay in touch with us in the coming years. You can do that through our social media platforms, but don't worry if you don't reach out to us, we'll certainly be reaching out to you. Before we leave, I'd like to acknowledge a couple of people who have been instrumental in organizing this entire event. They are Robin Tanner and Taylor Clodfelter. Oh, hang on. They are largely responsible for organizing this event. They might be close enough to this room to hear your clap. So I want you to clap and cheer as loud as you can to guarantee that they can hear you. All right. I think that did the trick. Thank you so much. With that, thank you, everyone. Please join us in the reception area just outside on the first floor for some beverages and some food. Thank you very much.